Have you ever just stopped and wondered how your favorite app, your company's entire network, or heck, the whole internet just works? I mean, it really feels like magic, right? But it's not. It's all thanks to some unseen architects. And today, we're going to pull back the curtain and meet the people who keep our digital world online.
Right? We depend on these incredibly complex systems every single second of the day, but we almost never see the people making sure they don't fall apart. And here's the thing. It's not just one person. It's a whole team of specialists with very, very different jobs. So let's start at the very foundation of that team.
Everything, and I mean everything, really starts with the system administrator, or as you've probably heard, the sysadmin. You can think of it like this. If the IT world was a giant ship, the sysadmin is the chief engineer. They're the jack-of-all-trades expert who makes sure the entire vessel is running just right. So, what does a sysadmin do? Well, you can think of them as the general manager for servers and computer systems. Their entire world really boils down to three key things: uptime, performance, and security. They are the ones making sure that the digital tools you count on every day are actually up and running when you need them. And believe me, their to-do list is huge. One minute, they could be applying a critical security patch to stop a potential hack, and literally the next, they're helping a coworker who can't remember their password. They're constantly switching gears, from high-level stuff like performance tuning to the very hands-on work of user support. They really are the ultimate IT problem solvers. But as a company gets bigger and more complex, that one jack-of-all-trades role just isn't enough. So that general sysadmin role often splits into more focused, specialized jobs. Let's dig into two of the biggest ones: the network administrator and the database administrator.
Okay, so if the sysadmin manages the computers themselves, the network administrator manages how all of those computers talk to each other. Think of them as the civil engineers of the digital world. They're the ones building the roads, the bridges, the highways that connect everything, from the Wi-Fi in your office to the massive fiber optic cables that literally cross oceans.
Yeah, their entire world is about flow and connectivity. They're designing the network's blueprint, installing the physical gear like routers and switches, and then they're constantly monitoring the traffic that flows through it. And what's their main goal? To make sure that data gets from point A to point B as fast and as securely as possible without any of those dreaded digital traffic jams. Now for a second specialist, the database administrator, or DBA. So if the network admin manages the roads, the DBA is kind of like the super skilled, meticulous librarian for a company's most precious asset, its data. Their whole job is to protect it, organize it, and make sure it's ready to go the instant it's needed. And this role demands a real laser focus. DBAs, they're not worried about network cables or Wi-Fi. They worry about the data itself. They're thinking about data growth 5 years from now, designing these super complex databases. And, this is maybe the most critical part, they manage backups and recovery. Because when a disaster hits, the DBA is the one person who can bring a company's entire memory back from the dead. No pressure, right? So, let's just boil this down to its simplest form. The network admin is always asking, is the network up? Is it fast enough? Meanwhile, the DBA is asking, is our data safe? Is it correct? And can we get it back if everything goes wrong? They are two totally different sides of the same coin, and both are absolutely essential for any modern business.
And listen, this kind of specialization gets incredibly deep. A professional DBA doesn't just manage databases in a general sense. No, they become certified experts in very specific technologies. Whether it's Oracle or Microsoft SQL Server or IBM's DB2, each one of these systems is its own complex universe, and it takes a really unique and advanced skill set to master them.
Now, all these super defined professional roles, they feel very modern, don't they? But they actually have a pretty fascinating ancestor. To really get where today's admins came from, we need to take a little trip back in time and meet the original system operator, the sysop. The term sysop is just short for system operator. It really became popular back in the day of the bulletin board systems, or BBSs. You can think of these as the ancient ancestors of today's internet forums. It's where people would dial in with those screeching modems to chat and share files. And you can see how the role has really changed over time. The title, System Operator, actually got its start way back in the age of massive mainframe computers. Then, in the 80s and 90s, sysop became the go-to title for the passionate hobbyists who ran those community BBSs. And finally, as the internet took over, the role professionalized into the sysadmin that we know today. And that right there, that highlights the real cultural shift. The original sysop was often a volunteer,
the passionate heart and soul of an online community. Today's sysadmin, network admin, and DBA are highly trained professionals. They're essential cogs in a formal business machine.
Okay, so we've met the generalist, the network specialist, and the data specialist. But how do these roles actually fit together inside a real company? Is it one person doing everything, or is it a whole army of people?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It's something every single organization has to figure out when they're building their tech team. And the truth is, there's just no single right answer.
It really truly all comes down to context. I mean, a tiny 5-person startup working out of a garage has completely different needs than a huge multinational bank that's managing petabytes of sensitive financial data.
Exactly. In a small company, you're probably going to find one person wearing all the hats. They're the sysadmin, the network admin, and the DBA all rolled into one. But you go to a large corporation, and you'll find entire departments dedicated to just one of these jobs, with people who specialize in something as ridiculously specific as just Oracle database security.
So let's do a quick recap of our key players. You've got the sysadmin, that's your foundational, do-it-all generalist. Then there's the network admin. They focus on the connections between the systems. The DBA, they focus on protecting the data living inside those systems. And finally, the sysop, their passionate community-building ancestor.
And all of this brings us to a really fascinating question about what's next. As AI and automation start to handle more of the routine stuff like patching servers and monitoring networks, what happens to these roles? Is the administrator of tomorrow going to be less of a hands-on operator and more of a high-level strategist? That's definitely something to think about. Thanks for joining me.